Be sure to subscribe and click on the bell for notifications on future uploads. Hello everyone, Simon Bart here, or you can call me Sully. Yes, I'm filming this on the exact same day that I did the other new movie reviews video, and yes, this will be the last one of these that I am doing. And if you want to know why I'm not doing these anymore, watch my last new movie reviews video for more information, or feel free to pause this post to read about it. And now it's time for the last new movie reviews of films that I saw in theaters in February 2023. 6 movies again. The first film from M. Night Shyamalan is okay at best, but baffling at worst. Knock at the Cabin. Director M. Night Shyamalan has made quite a baffling but okay movie based on the book The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay, with alright characters, a decent but questionable story, and fine effects when needed. Yet I say it's baffling because of how it all ended, and while the setup of 4 strangers who invade a cabin housing a gay couple and daughter, and under a unique vision are to sacrifice one of the family members to prevent the apocalypse, has some intrigue, yet it all ended up going nowhere and came out to a bunch of nothing. This is Shyamalan's second R-rated movie after The Happening, which I found to be my least favorite film from him for being quite lame. This one isn't as bad as that one, but it could have been more given how much suspense is in the film, and I wanted to know where it's all going. But in the end, the entire summary of the film is all that is needed, and I do hope for something better to come from Shyamalan. 2.5 mixed stars. The second film is an animated fractured fairy tale that's, for the most part, fine, but it's sort of a mess. The Amazing Maurice. Directors Toby Jenko and Florian Westerman have made an alright animated fantasy comedy based on the book The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents by Terry Pratchett, with alright characters, an okay story, and decent animation. While it's like a fractured fairy tale with the Pied Piper, it's pretty odd in the way it's all structured, usually around the narrator being part of the story, and somehow intersecting a different story while this one's going on. It's kinda confusing how it's done, even with the fourth wall humor it sometimes has, and the joke of whether it's a fairy tale or not. But despite this fractured fairy tale going in a different direction, this film is fine for some of its humor, a couple of bits I laughed at, its character designs, and some twisted moments. It's kind of all over the place, especially for a film of this genre, when I found a few others to work better. Yet, it's overall a fine mess. 2.5 plus stars. But this next one, which is a horror film, is a typical slasher movie, yet it's interesting for starring Winnie the Pooh characters. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Director Rai's Frank Waterfield have made a bizarre horror version of the Winnie the Pooh characters from A.A. Milne, with meh characters, a unique yet conflicting story, and deaths that might look neat but barely effective. On one hand, it's interesting to see these beloved characters commit to killing humans due to Christopher Robin leaving them, and creates a very twisted retelling of Disney's Christopher Robin. But on the other hand, the film also focuses on 5 women spending a holiday together near the 100-acre wood, with one of them trying to repress the trauma of a stranger stalking her. And it becomes a typical slasher film, except with gore effects and cinematography that's occasionally blocked by darkness, and not quite as horrifying and sometimes fake-looking. Music that's so loud that it drowns out some of the dialogue, and an ending that seems like it's still going, unless it's meant as a joke. Yet the designs of the Pooh characters are alright, especially with Pooh, who gives some emotion, have an effective presence, and only says 2 words at the end. But overall, it's a strange one, and most of the time it's hard to think or even grasp about it. But I don't see it as good or bad either. It's pretty much meh. 2.5 mixed stars. Although this one, a Marvel movie, is an okay sequel and an okay start to a new phase. AntMan and the Wasp: Quantumania. Director Peyton Reed has made an okay sequel to the previous Ant-Man films and an okay start to Phase 5 of the MCU, based on the characters from Marvel Comics, with fine characters, a fine story, and fine effects. While I wasn't into the other Ant-Man films, mostly for tending to have his protagonist not have things go his way and get into trouble several times, this one, thankfully, didn't have that, and it does have a trapped in a dimension and escape type of plot. And overall, there's not much that I could take away from, aside from an occasional joke that I laughed at, a Phase 1 villain's return that's silly but makes sense, Jonathan Majors as Kane the Conqueror, and a quantum realm that looks cool and colorful, but feels standard. I don't get the hatred that this film garnered, but I get a little to why people call it the Star Wars of Marvel movies, even if it's only for the visuals and some ideas. As such, I like it over the other Ant-Man films, and it's an okay start for the new phase. But it's in the middle of the road for me as a non-MCU fan, and to where it goes is beyond me, outside of the mid-credit scene. 2.5 mixed stars. The next film, however, is pretty silly for its concept, but is wildly entertaining and fun, even for a film that's inspired by true events. Cocaine Bear. Director Elizabeth Banks has made a silly but fun horror comedy with fine characters, a wacky story, and fun effects. While it's inspired by true events, and it is, of a drug cartel in 1985 gone wrong when a black bear does tons of cocaine and starts attacking people in encounters in a park. The outrageousness of it is almost unbelievable, but it's fun in a near over-the-top way that I was likely getting into it, almost in a so bad it's good sort of way. The humor gets a couple of laughs from me, the violence and gore is wonderfully neat, and it's crazy how it doesn't take itself seriously, as it might have been its intention. As such, it's a fine film of a goofy topic, yet it's very interesting for how zany it is. 2.5+ stars. And the last one is the third installment of a film series, but it's my first film of this one. Yet, it's all well done from my first look. Magic Mike's Last Dance. Director Steven Soderbergh has done a well-made third and final entry to the Magic Mike films based on the characters created by Reed Carolyn, with nice characters, a neat story, and wonderful dancing. While I haven't seen the previous films, yet I know the quote-unquote basic concept of them, that they're about male strippers with one of them named Mike, I could say that this is a well-done film and can work as a standalone. It has a basic enough plot, some nice chemistry and humor, with one moment being quite out there but has a good purpose, and a good amount of dancing that's both fun and suggestive without being too explicit. And outside of one cliche moment of hiding the truth until the end, it's all quite a fine experience. I didn't think a movie about a male stripper would get me to liking it, but it kinda surprisingly did. 2.5+ or 3 stars. And that is it. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook or Twitter, support me on Patreon, and until next time for a new video.